Alright, today we're learning how to play the classic Muse song Starlight, which also happens to be the preferred light for criminals. And we're going to do a couple different ways, and the first way we're going to talk about sounds like this. And I think this is a really good lesson in chord tones. So before we actually get into the single notes, I want to talk about just the chords of the song. It starts out on a B major chord, to C sharp minor, to G minor, or G sharp minor, to E major. Okay, so that's kind of the pulse of the song. And this is actually happening on a piano. I want to start by looking at these chord voicings, then we're actually going to do it higher. And but first let's talk about this B major chord, right? So it's just, you can use this bar chord, rooted on the second fret of the A string, and then the fourth fret of the D string, G string, and B string. And if we kind of condense this to just like an A shape, we're just gonna go backwards. Okay, so that's the first riff over the first chord. This is a really good example of a riff that just totally follows the chords of the songs and connects them together in kind of a fluid, arpeggiated way. So we're just going 4B, 4G, 4D. And then after that, after we complete this B major run, we're going to take the fourth note on the B string and hit the fifth note. And this is going to bring us into the C sharp minor position, which we're just going to back up the B, G, D strings. So we have B to C sharp, and then we're going to kind of run backwards through those notes. So we have 5B to 4B to 6G, and then we're going to run back to this first note again that starts all the chords off, which is a C sharp, the fourth fret on the B string. And now I've got 4B, 4G, 6D, which again, is just that voicing again. So far we can do it all with chord voicings, chord tones within chord voicings. And then this next one, we're going to go back to where we start every one. 4B, 5B, 4G, 6D. Now, if this doesn't look familiar, this is actually just a C-shaped bar chord rooted on the E string, right? So here's a C. If we moved this all the way to an E and then barred the fourth fret, that's going to give us this right there. So after we do this, we kind of reset the riff by going 5B, 4B, 6G. So again, the whole thing is there's the B major to the C sharp minor, G sharp minor, E major, C-shaped chord. Reset it and then start again. Okay, so it's a good example of kind of how knowing different chord voicings can help you find the melody of a song. And technically, if you want to do something more on the register of the piano sometimes, we can do the exact same thing but use different chord voicings higher up the neck. So we're actually going to start on this B, a different B major voicing, which is a D shape rooted on the 12th fret of the B string. So we just take this D shape, slide it all the way up to here, and make it a B. And we're just going to back it up. Just backwards through the chord. E, so 11E, 12B, 11G, 11, 12 on the high E string. And then we go into this next chord voicing, which is a D minor chord voicing, but rooted on a C sharp, which is a C sharp chord. There's your D minor chord voicing. Hit it all the way up here. We're just going to walk backwards through it. And then after that, we're doing the same thing we did before. 12E, 11E, 14B. And then the next chord we have is going to be that G sharp minor chord, but we're going to do it in a little bit of a different way. If we look at this chord voicing, an A minor voiced all the way up here. Again, so taking it from the B. There's that C sharp or G sharp minor chord voicing. 11E, 12B, just kind of like a staircase down, 13G. and then we're going to walk it back to the final chord, which is an E major. But we're going to do this regular voicing right here, which is just 12E, there's the root, 12B, 13G. And then just like before, we go 12, 11, 14, do the whole thing. So, kind of two different ways to play the exact same riff with different chord voicings. So I think kind of just seeing the melody within chords is a great thing to maybe try to start doing with your own songwriting, or if you're trying to kind of figure out how to play a melody over chords. Another great thing to do is maybe to kind of just solo this, to figure out different positions, to find out which position you like, because there's a million different positions you can use to play these notes. You can just maybe like loop the chords if you have a looper pedal, and then just kind of try to find those notes over it. And I think you'd be surprised to find that once you start thinking about single notes within chords, like as chord tones and putting them together, a lot of the songs that maybe you had a hard time remembering the lead lines of, you can kind of see more as chord shapes and really start to kind of bring your knowledge of the fretboard together with the power of chord voicings. So if you have any questions, hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, the comment section of the website, and until then, I will see you next time. Thanks a lot.